China has many ancient prophecies. The oldest one can be traced back to more than 3,000 years ago, but most people have considered them fake because they seem too accurate on past history, but not so clear on events which have happened during the past 100 years. So the theory is that someone ancient, fake newsmakers, decided to write ambiguous poems with historical names and events inserted to mess up people's minds. And amazingly, they did not do it to get fame nor fortune. They just wanted to do it. How should I say this? It is like sending out a computer virus. Of course, you can't rule out such possibilities, even though not one nor two prophecies have not come true, but everyone rather all in shocking details. But before the final verdict, let's take a look on the prophecies about current events to decide if these prophecies have failed on predicting the modern era. And what I found shocked me from the core. I was shocked, but I was not speechless, because I jumped on it and shared my findings with my Chinese-speaking viewers. And I guess they were shocked too, because in just 100 days, 12 of my videos got over 750,000 views. Just like my Nostradamus decodings, my original, never-before-found interpretations really shed light on not only the ancient prophecies, but what may soon happen. But unlike my Nostradamus decodings, my interpretations on Chinese prophecies raised more than just a few eyebrows. But the reason why these predictions managed to hide in plain sight, without being detected during the last 100 years, is because it was so well hidden. But I found not only the messages, but also how to find the messages. And I published quite a few of those in English. However, even though explaining Chinese prophecy in English can be harder than decoding those Chinese prophecies, I will continue sharing with you what I have found. I will first give you a quick introduction to the foremost popular Chinese prophecies. Number 1, Tuibei Tu. This was written 1,300 years ago by two famous astrologists. They used I Ching and wrote 60 poem-like predictions with 60 paintings. The poems ended with one pushing one's back and said, "Stop. You revealed too many secrets." Number 2, Hidden Poem. Tuibei Tu stopped when one author stopped the other, but the one decided to continue writing the prophecies and revealed those in the hidden poem. Biscuit Tale. Number 3. This was written 650 years ago by a counselor to the emperor. He is famous for being a psychic astrologer. Number 4. Poem for 10,000 Years. This one was written 3,000 years ago by Lord Jiang. It was well known 2,000 years ago as a famous scholar Yen wrote notes on the fulfilled part of the prophecy 2,000 years ago. We will start with Tuibei Tu. It is the best-known Chinese prophecy. When I searched Tuibei Tu in Chinese, I found 23 million sites. It is highly controversial because 1,000 years ago, the Emperor of China feared the revealed future secrets would rattle his empire. So, he released many fake versions, hoping to destroy the prophecy's credibility. But when I decoded poem 40 through 42, I realized I am decoding the right version, because we found not only 80 years of Chinese history, but also the names of General Chiang Kai-shek, Mao Zedong, Shu, Enlai, Deng Xiaoping, the return of Hong Kong, and the Korean War. And then I found in poem 43 the name Huawei, CEO Ren Zhenfei, his daughter Renwan Zhu. Then I found a prediction of China's rise and possibly how it would survive the trade war. Then in poem number 45, showed the coming wars. For sure, China and Japan would be on different sides, with Japan losing the fight, and America seemingly wanting to be kept out of it, after showing its missile with a show of power. But the war would be short. In a way, the prophecy kind of fulfilled after we published the video, because India and Pakistan already exchanged fire, with China's weapon on the way to aid. Poem number 46 detailed the changes to soon happen between the two Chinas. The secret cracked open when we released a video on December 17th, 2018. People laughed at our blurred vision, as calling a elected mayor in Taiwan's third largest city in Taiwan a fulfilled prophecy seemed to be quotes taken directly from a psycho ward. But the mayor is now the leading candidate in polls for Taiwan's next presidential elections. Poem number 47 contains the name of the current Taiwan president, the name of the leader of the opposition party, and hints of a ceasefire and peace treaty. So now let's look at the second prophecy written 1,300 years ago, the hidden poem. This not as well-known prophecy has one big clue that is not at all hidden. It predicted events not only in chronological order, but gave exact times. Every dynasty, it will say how long the dynasty would last. So precise, people consider that as the proof of it being forged. But let's go back to the beginning of the Qing dynasty. It stated clearly the 8 flags, the symbol of Qing, calling its reign of over 200 years, and giving the name of the Taiping peace rebel happened 200 years later, and the 2 generals putting it off. The warning stated another chaotic event 80 years after Taiping, which is the 1931 start of the Japan's invasion of China. It gave the name of the person who led China to victory, and then gave another warning of the next big mess 90 years in the future. 90 years would be 2021, and the poem mentioned a person with a flower. 2 flowers were mentioned. One is hibiscus, which is also called Chinese rose. And the current Taiwan president's nickname is White Rose. And the second flower is sunflower. In 2014, a sunflower student movement collapsed people's confidence in Taiwan's president. His poor handling of the matter led to his party's humiliating loss in 2016. And these were all predicted in the hidden poem. Then another name was mentioned, Dr. Lei, her recently resigned prime minister, who now challenges her in the next presidential election, while Kaohsiung Mayor Han Kaoyu was also mentioned as the one who would defeat them. Of course, those events have not yet happened, so I can only guess based on what I found. I could be wrong, but the words and facts do add up. Then there is Biscuit Tail, probably the second most famous Chinese prophecy. It is longer and covers a shorter time period, so the poem revealed more details. The poem showed the name of every Qing emperor in poems long decoded by others. While I found the hidden names of both Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong, it showed Japan's invasion of China and even the name of its flagship. While Communist China's Cultural Revolution was mentioned before, revealing in synchronizing order with Tuibei II, the victory of getting Hong Kong back, new Korean tensions after 63 years of ceasefire, and the trade war conflict, including mentioning of Huawei's CFO Meng being arrested in Canada. Then it talked about the fight between Taiwan and China. It talked about a fight quickly moving to the negotiation table. It talked about the one who will light up the fire and how one person will put out the fire. And the poem for 10,000 years, in its very condensed form, gave clues of when the next chaotic time will be. It flew through China's 3,000-year history, but quickly pointed out the start and end of each dynasty. The poem of current time, it talked about a divided country, a country that will last 109. China's current calendar shows 2019 as year 108. So the chaos is really just months away. However, 109 could mean 190. So we can still be a century away. But everything seemed to point to a looming war instead of a distant one. It is difficult for me to acknowledge the future is set, because I think we can change the future. But I can't ignore the fact that China's history seems to fall into the preset frame time after time. And soon we will know if these prophecies have correctly predicted China's future. This is Ken Peters. Thank you for watching.